Call it inspiration. Call it the eureka moment. Call it a bolt from the blue. Nothing is more liberating than a blank piece of paper. It's the chance to create something original.
Well, we've just arrived at up-and-coming world superstar golfer George Coetzee's primary residence here in Pretoria. We're going to go and meet George and get a little insight into his career, his goals, and most importantly, where he comes from.
No. Please, no.
Hi there, Georgie.
How you doing? How you doing?
Oh, great, man. Nice to see you. Thanks for getting us around. It's quite difficult to find.
Yeah, you should have phoned, eh?
I'm glad it's the last time we go sit outside.
Yeah.
Well, Georgie, you've got a little break in your hectic schedule and you've had just an amazing year out on the European tour, traveling the world and making lots of money.
Yeah, no, definitely. I can't complain about the last couple of years on the European tour. It's been a great experience, and I mean, getting paid to do something you love, it's always nice.
Absolutely. I mean, you're only 25 years old, and it's been a privilege for me personally to watch your development over the last few years. But there's been so many factors that go into making an exceptional sportsman. And I'd like to just go back a little bit to when you were younger. Where did it all start and why golf?
I guess Ernie's probably a big factor in that, because the first thing I saw on TV was Ernie winning the US Open. But I was much more of a tennis player when I was a kid, and I think I made Northern squad, never made the Northern side, and I enjoyed it a lot, but I wasn't that good, and winning was kind of the feeling I was after. And so my dad finally took me to the golf course after 3 years of nagging him to take me, and I played in a tournament a couple of months later, and I ended up winning my age group, and I was like, well, this is the feeling I want. I wasn't getting it with tennis, and I was coming close, but I wasn't winning. So I said, well, now that I've tasted it, there's nothing else I want to do except play golf. So
winning is a key, and I mean, you've been influenced by two wonderful parents who both in their own rights are very successful people, and your sister has been very successful. So that winning culture and that competitiveness is something that's been in your family for a long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, my dad does every single sport you can think of almost, and if it wasn't for his back, he'd still be running Comrades, and I mean, I don't understand the whole running thing. But my mother was a really good tennis player in her day, and she's a pretty good golfer for someone who just started. And my sister obviously doesn't want to get left behind, so she studies as hard as she can, and I think it's a competitive streak in her that's coming out to show that getting a golden key in her degree, and I mean, it's you can say it runs in the family, but it's always, I think it's all about being competitive and trying to be the best.
Well, I think a big turning point in your golfing career, obviously when you won the SA Amateur, it was something that you knew you could do, but not many people sort of saw you as the potential South African amateur champion. That must have been a life-changing experience for you.
Yeah, I just, as a junior, I actually didn't achieve much as a golfer. I mean, I think I must have come top 10 a couple of times a year, never really consistent, never really winning anything serious, except maybe a junior foundation every now and then. But yeah, but the January before the SA Amateur at Wingate, I told my mom, listen, a lot of guys just turned pro. This year, if I want to make it, this is the year to win the SA Amateur. When I practiced, I mean, it was the first year out of school. That's more or less the time you start partying, and I said, I'm not going to drink at all. I didn't drink for 3 months, didn't go out and party. I practiced every day. I think I really worked really hard for it, and in the end it paid off, and I got lucky enough to win it.
I think when you touch on that hard work, I can remember you as a young guy at Woodhill Country Club. I had to go into a meeting with the security in the morning and to discuss the fact that there was this young guy chipping until well into the night, and they kicked you off, and your mom was on the phone, and you were back the next day doing it all again. So, I mean, I think really the message is the hard work is starting to pay off.
I still think the hours I spent on the wood or putting green, that's the hours that I'm reaping the rewards of now, because my putting is probably the best part of my game, and I think my chipping is pretty much up there as well. I wish I hit a couple more balls when I was younger, but I mean, yeah, it's a passion, you can say. If you enjoy winning and you don't like losing, you're going to work harder and make sure that you don't lose. And I mean, I had a lot of good friends that played golf with me, and very competitive guys. I know one of my friends, if you tell him you want to play Ching Chong Chai for $5, he'll play Ching Chong Chai for $5. But yeah, I think it has a lot to do with who you grow up with, and if there's people that want to compete against you and make. If you think about it, Ernie, the Gooses, all those guys came up in a group of players, and they all competed against each other. And at the moment, I think South African golf, we've got the same kind of recipe going with Brandon Grace and JB Kruger and me, and I mean, there's a lot of youngsters that are doing really well, and Jaco van Zyl as well. And I think it's a recipe for success if there's a good bunch of guys that you can compete against.
Well, that sounds great. It's all about hard work, dedication and commitment. We'll have a look next time at what's driven Georgie to the success that he's created this year.